Friday night, as Gary would say, in the big town. So thanks for joining me. We are here to talk about the weekend outlook, to see if anything has changed since last we spoke. And no, not really. But what we're going to do is kind of detail things a bit better for you. So hopefully you can plan your weekend a little bit more precise than what you may have otherwise had thought about. So thanks for joining me. I'm Meteorologist Tuttle again. In case you're here for the first time, you're at the right place, right channel. So you're watching the new wave of how weather's done here. It's going to be this way across the whole U.S. So I'm just one of the early birds to get the worm. But so get used to it. Things will change in the television world, and this is going to be your new television over time. So if you live long enough, if you're up there around 95 years old, you may not quite see it all come to fruition. But for the rest of us, so we might just make it if we play our cards right. I don't know how I got off on that tangent. You never know on a Friday night with me. Remember, it was Frisky Friday, so anything can happen. I don't know what's wrong with me. Hey, just go with it, By the way, for you folks that are watching on the main Facebook page, I've got a pinned comment where you can be a supporter. So I need you to click on that and support me. I need about 500 more of you. So hardcore followers, I need 500 more to step up, and I'm going to turn off all the ads on AT's Weather to Go. I'm able to give you a lot more bonus product as a result. In other words, I'm going to turn on the floodgates and give it right back to you. Now, the other night I talked about back scratching, so it's like getting a back scratch. And you might this is what I want you to do. I want you to use one hand and scratch my back, and then when I'm done with you, it's going to be two-handed. See what I'm saying? So trust me, you're going to want to do this. I got some big things I'm working on, so I'm excited. Okay, so let's get on with it, shall we? There's many other ways to support me, by the way. If you don't want to do Facebook fan subscriptions, you can go to my website, aarontutleweather.com, hit the donate tab. Even here in this live video, if you touch it while you're watching it, it'll pop up a whole description, and there's all kinds of links in there. You can just pick whatever your fancy. Whatever tickles your fancy, as my grandmother used to say. All right, let's quit tickling and get on the business. All right, we got things to do, right? Okay, Saturday afternoon, some storms coming on into the state late in the afternoon up here in northwest Oklahoma, and also down in southwest Oklahoma is the main idea. And then these would move east-northeast, and these would move east overnight. So kind of have two batches of activity to watch for. The tornado threat is going to be low, but not zero. That is a big important distinction here. Right now, the weather service is going up to baseball-size hail, but you know what? That's pretty close to softballs, and wouldn't be surprised to see if one of them happens out from the sky. And here's a big picture here, 60 to 80 mile per hour winds. So we're getting to that as well. So let's take a look at the Storm Prediction Center. It's got the same kind of idea, and I talked about this last night, how they were going to throw up an enhanced area here, and they're just this close to doing it. What they did is they hatched it to draw more attention to it. So rather than a slight risk, an enhanced risk of severe weather. But they're not. There's some things in the day they're waiting to show up that's not showing up. It's making them hesitant. I get it. And actually the data still continues to show southwest Oklahoma should be an enhanced area too. So we'll see how this plays out in later updates. But bottom line is we're going to get some severe weather. So typical, stuff we see around here, large hail, damaging wind, and yeah, probably a tornado or two somewhere across state before all is said and done between now and Sunday evening. Okay, so let's get to the first idea of how things should transpire, and I like this model, really. I'm leaning higher towards it. There are some storms out there, by the way, in Kansas tonight. Those moving into the northern parts of the state overnight, but weakening as they do so. So don't expect a whole lot out of those storms. There's some brief rain, maybe some pockets, some moderate wind, but nothing too crazy or carried away. All right, just so you guys in northern Oklahoma know that. Now, as we head into tomorrow, this is in the afternoon to evening hours, so we're talking late day after 5 o'clock here. Expect some showers and storms to bubble up down here in northwest Texas and eastern Texas panhandle, and those will be moving to the north and east as we go through time. Now, you see the little red tracks on here? Those little red tracks are strong helicity tracks, in other words, some good rotation to produce some hail. So there's going to be some hail with these. This extends all the way down south just west of Dallas-Fort Worth. This is up to around the 8 or 9 o'clock hour. Now, this model has them weakening as they come into central Oklahoma. I don't necessarily buy into that, though, and I'll show you a better outcome, which I like. Same thing for Dallas-Fort Worth, has them weakening, but, it's summertime. These things can last quite a bit longer after dark than we normally are accustomed to. Now, if you do notice also in this time frame, northwest Oklahoma, there are some storms that try to develop up there. They don't last very long. We have a whole batch that comes in after that, but it kind of diminishes. So Northwest Oklahoma, this model's having trouble with, but I don't think it'll be that much trouble. I think things will get going. And as we head into Sunday, we're doing a repeat. So more activity here across central Oklahoma, western Oklahoma, some tracks on there for some large hail that moves into the metro area. So, I'm just saying, just prepared. We're going to have some hail this weekend. Now, what kind of hail sizes are we talking about? We'll get just a general idea with this model, and then we're going to move on. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. There's what I wanted. So, your attention here. Let's go into this part of the... let me see if I can blow this up. This is really hard to see. Okay, see a little bright orange. Boy, I about blew that up about as much as I could go. This black, really bright orange up there, faint red color. All right, well, what does that translate to? Up here, 3+ inches on the size of the hail size. So that's what I'm saying. Somebody's gonna get some softballs and might even see some grapefruits falling from the sky. So nothing's changed in that. You don't want to be the 100, but Southwest Oklahoma right now is the best shot of that. And then those storms, they maintain their intensity, would have a tendency to move into central Oklahoma. So let's take a look at a different model. And I like this one too. It's got those storms in northern Oklahoma tonight. You can see them pushing to Tulsa by 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, falling apart. A little outflow boundary scoots on through Oklahoma City, but no big deal. We should not see any significant weather with that. Maybe some sprinkles or leftover showers from that. That's about it. And then in the evening hours for tomorrow, here in central Oklahoma, we see those storms approaching from the west. This model keeps them together, and it actually has a much stronger intensity, and I like this outcome better for tomorrow evening. So those blow through Oklahoma City. So yeah, I expect some hail with those. And then you see no problem getting those storms going northwest Oklahoma. So I actually kind of favor this output better than the other one, even though I lean toward both of these models a lot for my forecast. You can also see Dallas-Fort Worth gets slammed right around midnight with a nasty squall line. Damaging winds probably with that, and probably a little bit of hail too. And then on to Sunday morning, it's got some leftover storms down here in southern Oklahoma. And then as we head into Sunday afternoon, guess what happens? Right back into central Oklahoma. And those move off into the southeast by Monday morning. So it's going to be a little stormy around here, but most of your Saturday looks good. And so that's where I need you to plan accordingly. So if we take a close-up view of this, those are storms that go by tonight, no big deal. Then we go into tomorrow. So, the model's going, from the 5 to 7 o'clock hour out here in southwest Oklahoma. But they'll be quick movers. They'll be in the Oklahoma City metro area by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock hour for sure. And then whatever they've got holding together is what, residual is what they're going to have with them. And then we got that new development down south. And then here we go into Sunday with some more storms here in central western Oklahoma and also northeast. So that's the big picture. Now, let me show you. So in other words, Sunday... we're going to have a few dry areas across many areas for probably the mid-morning to early afternoon, and that's it. So you don't have a whole lot of, pleasant weather on Sunday to deal with. Now, the winds is what I want to talk to you about here real quick. And look at this. This is coming into southwest Oklahoma, and I want to show you this guy right here. You see that? That says a max of 82 miles per hour. So if you want to talk about damaging winds, that, my friends, is damaging winds. So we come up here and zoom this in for you. So these numbers right here in the white shading. So southwest Oklahoma, those storms are quite a punch. So not only the large hail threat, but you got wind-driven hail. You can have hail at fall speeds of 100 miles an hour anyway, but now you're going to have wind-driven hail of 80 miles an hour. That's just going to add insult to injury. So it is what it is. So that will move on through Sunday. Now here's the question. So Sunday, this model, because it's got too much storms everywhere, it doesn't pick up on the strong damaging wind aspect as well. But I'm going to go ahead and just leave it out there that we're still going to see pockets of those winds up around 70 miles per hour for Sunday on some of these stronger storms. And yes, the large hail. Whether or not it'll be as big as Saturday, it may not be, because it depends on how worked over the atmosphere gets tomorrow night and a Sunday morning to help, as far as the recovery process. Let me see what else I want to show you. So those are really the main takeaways I want to give you for tonight. That way, I didn't talk too long for you. Let me think here. Let me see what this guy. Where's he at? He's nowhere. Okay, so got the large hail size, got the damaging winds, got the timing on the rain. That's really about it. That was it. I mean, tomorrow I'll be around, and if it looks like those storms down in southwest Oklahoma are going gangbusters, then I'll probably cover them. I normally just cover tornadoes, by the way, but they might produce a tornado down there, or even here in the central, or even on Sunday. Sunday's a wild card because depending where the outflow boundaries kind of end up from Saturday night stuff, those boundaries can be an enhanced area of vorticity or spin in the atmosphere. So there is a lot of directional shear with these storms. There's somewhat weak, but this time of year that happens. But when you have excessively high Kate value, oh, that's what I'm going to show you. I knew there was something. I was come on, brain, get in there. When there's excessively high Kate values, that can offset the weaker wind shear. So let me go back here into the Kate. This is just ridiculous. I mean, this happens not often, but it does happen here. When you get the purple area, this whole shading area right here, we're up around 5 to 7,000 joules per kilogram. So the max is out is around 6,000 here on this particular frame. So what happens is the scale ends theoretically about 8,000 anyway. I mean, this scale doesn't even go up that high. It stops at 7 because it's like, why bother? In other words, you can only have so much energy in the atmosphere, potential energy from heat, humidity, dew point values, that kind of stuff. So that's just kind of what the atmosphere provides a storm to work with. So the higher the Kate values, the larger the hail, as long as you can have some lapse rates to go along with it. And you want high lapse rates around 7, 8 degrees, something like that, which we should have. And cooler temperatures aloft, which we do. So because we're not too late in the summer. Once we get late in the summer, those temperatures in the mid to upper levels start to warm up, so the hail sizes come down, and you get more of a damaging wind aspect because you get some drier air too, and so we kind of shift from hail to microbursts once we head into July and August. So that's kind of how June is a transition month. We start out gangbusters typically with tornadoes, and when we end the month, we transition from a tornado threat to a hail threat to then a damaging wind threat. So in a 30-day time span, atmosphere changes dramatically here over Oklahoma. And it's similar over other surrounding areas here of the Southern Plains. So just a little tidbit for you. Okay, so let me jump on in. First off, guys up there that watch from my YouTube channel, appreciate you. And then we have, if you're not on my YouTube, you need to go there. That way you can sign up, get notified, just in case Facebook doesn't notify you. And as I mentioned before, if you want to be notified on Facebook, I did some Facebook training. You're like, there's Facebook training? Yes, there is. For creators like me, there is training because they want me to succeed. In other words, I have a Facebook person. Believe it or not, I got a rep. And they reached out to me and said, hey, you guys, you have a huge following. You've been around for a while. It looks like you know what you're doing. Let's help you succeed even more. What can we do for you? So they gave me some training tips on this, and one of them and it irritates me because I lost reach over a period of time, my organic reach. I haven't paid for anything, so it's all organic. In other words, you guys sharing and liking and commenting. That's what got this page to grow, is you telling your friends and family. So I haven't pushed it any other way. I just let it do what it wanted to do. And it grew, and because of that, well, we're here we are today. I cannot tell you to like anything. I cannot tell you to share anything. I cannot tell you to tag a friend, because if I do, it buries my post, whether it be a picture, text, video, down into the noise, and you'll never see it. So you have to do all this organically on your own, and that way Facebook will reward you, and it will show you when I go live with the notifications. It'll put it on your main news feed, but you have to be interactive. You got to type. You got to say first, second, last. I don't care. Talk with other people in the conversation. Facebook will reward you in kind with their AI, their artificial intelligence algorithms, basically, to say, hey, you're interested in this content, so we're going to show you more of it. Otherwise, this goes for all pages that you follow. Your news feed will be nothing but your friends and family, that's what you want. It's fine. But if you want the pages that you follow and you want them on your news feed to make it easy to find, rather than just going to my page directly, then that's how you're going to get it. So just a little tidbit for you. I learned that here this week, and I was like, okay. So you got to work with the system. So there you go. So that's what I wanted to tell you for that. So just so you know. And then let's see. Right now I'm looking at I broadcast this in 3 ways. So it's on 2 Facebook pages. It's the main one, my closed group Facebook page, which you can be a member of, but you have to be a supporter first, or my YouTube page. Somebody asked me to do Twitter, and then Twitter / I think it's Periscope kind of combined. I think somehow they're interlinked. I don't know. We'll see. Right. So far, this has been enough. But anyway. All right. So let's see. Jolene, which is about to go to bed. Well, Jolene, now you can sleep well. Let's see. Some of you have some wine already. Sweet. Brenda got her love handle. Good. Glad you got it. Now, everybody who was supposed to get a love handle, I ran out, unfortunately. I'm like 10 short, so I'm going to have to order a whole new batch. Give me a couple weeks to get all those in if you're watching tonight and you're like, hey, I haven't gotten mine yet. Let's see. You guys can bubble wrap your cars. You can put those noodles on, whatever you want to do. But if it's big hail and it's windy, it's all going to get blown away or destroyed. It won't matter. So it's best just to park your car somewhere, of important protection. And you can use my app to get you notified. It'll tell you storms approaching 25 miles away or lightning in the area 15 miles away. And that'll get your attention. You can open up the weather app and see if, how the storm looks and read the warning information on it. It'll tell you how big the hail is. The Weather Service will put that discussion on there. And that way you can prepare. You may not have any hail with it. You might be all right. You may be one of those. So, Brian, I put up some new YouTube videos. It's a kind of a weather classroom series that I put together. I just threw them up there, then went on vacation and to see my family last weekend. I didn't finish editing everything, but they're on there. You can watch them. You just have to go to my YouTube page for that. It's youtube.com/Aaron Tuttle. Okay. All right. So let me go with the main page here real quick. I can only see your last few comments, by the way. So if you ever guys leave comments, you have to hold them to the end as far as if you have any questions you want me to respond to, because I won't be able to see them while I'm looking at maps, and then by the time I get back here, they all get truncated. Let's see. Hey, Matt. Good to see you. You guys get some action up there in Woodward. Send me a picture if you guys get some crazy hail or some of that crazy wind. So, Matt's a good friend of mine. He's emergency management. Big dog up there in northwest Oklahoma. He runs a ship, but don't tell anybody. Let's see. You're welcome, Christy. I know, right? Everybody should be subscribed. What are they thinking? Bob Ross of weather. All right, Rachel, that's a funny one. I like Bob Ross. I painted some stuff back when I was a kid watching Bob Ross. I got one in my bathroom. Hey, look, let me go get that for you. Hold up. This is bonus content. Stick around for all a few hundred of you that are still here. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you some Bob Ross. All right. I'm going to show you some Bob Ross action. So, I know this is going to be all like keyed out because I've got green in it, but for my weather wall. But this is some Bob Ross action that I painted back when I was a young little whippersnapper. And all my trees are green, so it went it's going through the monitor. But you have to use your imagination. If I twist it, will they come back? Nope, they won't. All right. Well, you'll just have to imagine some pretty happy trees here, because that's what he used to say. A lot of happy trees. So, anyway, I don't know. That was so far out in left field, and the odds of that ever happening was 1,000,000,000 to 1. You just made it happen. Who was that said Bob Ross? That was Rachel. Well, there you go, Rachel. All right. Anyway, so for those of you folks that didn't know, I was quite the artist growing up, and I made a lot of stuff. And actually, when I was young, I was like, I wanted to be an artist, but I loved the weather. And I was like, what should I do, one way or the other? And so my mom, one of a few things that she ever told me that was actually valuable was, and she didn't exactly word it PC-wise, but I got the point. She says, you can be an artist, but you'll live in a cardboard box. And at that time, of the age of, 13 or so, living in a cardboard box did not sound appealing to me. And so I kind of went more toward the weather, but still did the art on the side and entered some contests and had a really good time with that. So I made a bunch of artwork back then until I graduated high school. And then I kind of put that aside, or I guess you could say I transferred it, because I went from art designing on pottery, painting, free drawing, pointillism, whatever the medium was, and I ended up using it to develop and design graphics for what you guys watch on TV. So I use that side of my brain to develop, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm very unique, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I'm strange. That's not bragging. I'm very unique and strange in that I can use both sides of my brain. So I got an artistic side and then the science side, and so they work together. Plus, I'm a techie. I'm a nerdy. I'm into bodybuilding. I'm into fixing my own car. I'm into do-it-yourself whatever. I'll tackle it. Home improvement, contract stuff. I don't know how I got all this going on, but it keeps me very busy and out of trouble. So anyway, I'm a rarity. I think that's a good thing, but I'm not sure. Like I said, it can be. I can take on too much is what I can do, but it is what it is. All right, so yeah, jack of all trades. There you go, Amberly. Yeah, I like that. I've used that term myself. So Jody knows. Jody's like, every time I see you do something, I'm impressed. I'm going to put you to work. I'm like, no, let's not get carried away. Because now she's got, I made the mistake of telling her. So I did, look at my car, I replaced the pivot arms and the struts and all that kind of stuff. And so her car now needs that work on the rear end. And that's what stabilizes it, keeps it from kind of swaying when you drive. So hers is starting to wear out according to her dealer. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how much they're going to charge you, but I could probably do it for a couple $100. But I don't know if I want to do it. I got all the tools, but man, my hands, they just don't work like they used to. I'm getting old. But anyway, all right, I don't know. I'm way out in left field. I don't know how I even got here. Okay, it's 10 after 11, or 10 after 10, 11 after 10. And I think it's about time for me to sign off. Hey, so listen, you guys, thanks for hanging out. It's a Friday night. What else are you going to do anyway, right? Happy you're probably loaded. Maybe I should be. I don't know. All right, that was just it. I was checking the other page here real quick for comments before I hang up. Right, just call me Bob Ross. So, Darren wants a dual pole radar tutorial. Oh my goodness. You guys are funny. I guess I could always create more content and just upload. So if I do, or now will, I'll probably do a lot of that stuff on YouTube too, because YouTube I actually get paid for that kind of stuff. Facebook, they're starting. They allowed me to put in ads for some of these videos that I upload, but it's pennies on the dollar. Of course, YouTube is. Let me rephrase this. It's a fraction of a penny, and YouTube is pennies on the dollar. So I don't know. You really don't make much money in any of this stuff, which is why I ask you guys to help donate. That way that fills the gap and I can do all this and not kill my bank account. Alright. What else? So I'm looking at you guys on YouTube right now. I'm reading your comments. So yeah, I try to cover more surrounding areas than just Oklahoma. Sometimes it just depends on how busy I am at the moment. I got a lot going on, as you just heard. Way too much for one person. I always joke I need three of me. Two of me to work, and the third to take a vacation for the other two, just to keep my sanity. So, but you guys are coming through though. For those of you folks that have donated and become supporters, I really appreciate it. This is the first year I even did that. I basically ate all of this myself, and then every now and then you guys would throw back something my way. Even at one point I had a GoFundMe page years ago to help me get this whole thing started, and a lot of you came through with that just to kind of get the ball rolling, and that was awesome. But those funds, those dried up like almost immediately just because of the cost and everything to get it going. But and then I realized over time I better get some more income on this. Because it's bleeding me dry. So you guys have stepped up, so I appreciate that. That means you recognize the value that I provide, which is, it's always going to be rewarded for your work. People don't mind helping others, but when it comes to working for free or not putting food on the table, that's a different story. Obviously, you'd like to get paid for that, so you can feed your family, and get rewarded for the time you spend in. And so I kind of looked at it as more of a volunteer giving thing, just to keep my sanity, because I knew I wasn't making anything on it. So I thought, well, if I just give back this way to the community, that should be enough. And you tell yourself that, and it is a good thing. It's just at some point though, the bills pile up or it gets expensive, and you'd like a little help the other way to kind of help offset that. So that's kind of where we end up today. So that's going to be good because I can turn those ads off the app, which are annoying, and only I can do is block them. So in other words, if you guys find an app, but this is all for iPhone users. Android people don't have a problem. It's iPhone only. The developers that make those ads, they're gaming the system for YouTube, and they're not allowing you to close them, which irritates me because then you can't even use my app. So the only way to do that is for you guys to tell me which ad it is, and I block it so you can't see it again. And then that way the app will work. But those are rare. There's not that many of them, but the ones that do cause me a headache. And I emailed Google, and they just played stupid. They could care less. They could care less. As a creator, it's frustrating to be on all these platforms because there's very little interaction, even from us, that creates the content. So if you guys get nothing, and we get like this much, and it's just enough to kind of, I don't know, just to tease us, really. And then they go around, they're starting to ban all these people and shadow ban them or block them and off all these social media platforms, and that upsets everyone else. And then everybody's like, well, I'm not going to be on this platform, I'm leaving it. Well, I'm on the platform creating stuff, so then where do I go? This whole thing's a mess. If everybody could just quit being all offended, then we wouldn't have a problem. We could all go out about our business. You watch what you want to watch. So luckily for me, for weather, it's doesn't ruffle up any feathers, so I don't have to worry about that. But if you guys all leave a platform, well, what good does that do me? So I'm always waiting for the new platform. As soon as one comes up, I'll jump on. There's Gab. There's what starts with a P. I forgot what it's called already. Parler. So there's Gab and Parler. So I signed up for both of those. I haven't used them yet, but I got them on there. And then I think Jordan Peterson, he's creating a new one. And then there's another media company creating a new one. So I don't know. When the dust settles, who knows what's going to be out there, but it's going to take a while for that to happen. So meanwhile, we're stuck with what we got right now. So that includes Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, and those are three big ones. So I saw Pinterest got in trouble. So now people are closing their Pinterest accounts. I don't have a Pinterest account, so I don't care. So if you don't know what that's all about, you should Google it. But anyway, Jennifer on YouTube, I see something on there. It says, looks like you did something. I don't know what that means. I'm not used to this, but you did pay something. It says $1.99, so I don't know what that means. But if you have a question, ask it. I think is what that is. I turned on Super Chat, so anyone on YouTube that wants to do a Super Chat question, they can do that. So I'm still learning how that works. All right, let me jump back on here. I signed off on this 10 minutes ago, and I'm still talking. Now y'all want me to do an art tutorial? Oh boy, that's funny. Well, that's another thing that's beneficial for me because I can do my own graphics. So let's check this out. So running this whole thing, not only you have to be the scientist, you got to be the artist, but you have to promote. So you basically have to promote your own material. You got to market your own material. You got to design your own material. So that goes back to the graphic design. And if you can imagine one guy having to do all that, it's so much work. I mean, y'all when y'all go home from your day job in the evenings, you grab a beer, a glass of wine, you play with the kids. When I go home, I go to the gym and I go to work. And then the weekends, when you guys are out at the lakes or at the pool, I go to work. And that's been most of how things go, especially during the busy time of the year. So I do kind of check out in the summer because nothing's going on. You guys don't hear from me a whole lot because I'm decompressing, so I don't go nuts. So that's the time I usually kind of take a little bit more of a step away. But other than that, in Oklahoma, there's always weather. Chuck wants to know. He's traveling, heading College Station. Giggle. So going some storms through Dallas if you go too late in the day. That'd be in the evening hours, though. And we're talking late evening. Otherwise, I'm sure you'll be fine. Let's see. Let me go back to the main page here real quick. Tabitha, any weather updates? Oh, good grief. You must be late to the party. We finished doing weather like 30 minutes ago. Right. I got a live stream of art. I actually have a ton of art. You know what? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm signing up. There's 200 of you right now on the main page. All 200 of you, go sign up to be a supporter. Click the link on here because I do bonus content. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I will do a live bonus content for all my patrons on the closed group weather page. So you can only get to that if you join one of these tiers from either Patreon, Subscribestar, or Facebook fan subscriptions. You pick those 3 platforms, one of those 3. There's even a PayPal if you just want to do PayPal. And then you can get in access to the closed group Facebook page, and I'll do a live bonus content showing you guys my artwork. So it's actually a good idea. So I'm glad you guys said that. So it's not weather related at all, but you want to see a little bit of side of me of what I do, we'll do it. And part of that content is like showing you kind of behind the scenes stuff. So I'll show you my studio and walk you around the house. I'll even show you my prep stuff, how I prep for food for the bodybuilding lifestyle. So those are all things I'll throw in just so you guys can understand a little bit more about me. And that way you don't have to believe everything you read on the internet. Because we all know everything on the internet's true, no matter what tool is writing it. I'll use the word tool very strongly because everybody's a tool that has something negative to say. Why? Because they hate their life. If they're like me, you got no time for that stuff, man. You're too busy, making your own path and being the good guy and just making sure your eternal life and soul is set up. That's what you're worried about. You're not worried about some goober. So, but anyway, everybody's got to have their own issues. So I got enough going on. Keep me out of trouble. All right. Listen, I'm out of here. Like I said, sign up. Links on this deal if you guys haven't done so already. And for those of you folks that have signed up and you're like, well, hey, I haven't gotten access to the page yet. Well, you got to get on it. Because if you're on Patreon, there's a link on the Patreon when you sign up. The mini post that says, hey, just scroll through that list and you'll find it. And then also, if you're a Facebook fan subscription, same kind of deal. When you become a supporter, there's a link there you can click on, and it's got the information there. So there's plenty of ways to find it, or just message me. If you really can't find it, I want you on there. All right, you guys have a good night. Watch out for that hail tomorrow, and the damaging winds, and in case there's a tornado. I'll be around, so I'll keep an eye on it. Good night, guys. See ya.